Today's show is sponsored by the Electric Vehicle Association. Join up to support the electrification of transport and get the help you need to finance your own EV or clean energy future. And by Energy Sage. Visit the link in the description to find local, verified solar experts, community projects and heat pump specialists in your area. And by Atmos Financial. Bank better with a financial technology company that's powered by a portfolio of clean energy investments. Welcome back to another episode of TEN, Transport Evolved News. Thanks for joining me. I would love to tell you that this week's news is full of amazing, positive stuff, but it's not. I'll do my best to keep things as positive as possible, but we are very much heading towards the not-so-great place in the EV world. And with that in mind, our first story today deals with the immediate effect of the cancellation late last week in the US of millions of dollars set aside for EV charging. Allocated under the previous administration's NEVI funding program, the White House announced an immediate halting of any funding under the program late last week, leaving state officials, EV owners and industry insiders in the dark. While the US Department of Transportation has said funds already allocated will be paid out, that's not what we're hearing on the ground, and with future promised cuts from the White House against all EV and green energy projects, things aren't looking good. The only winner right now is Tesla, which is still getting $400 million from the federal government for armoured Cybertrucks. Actually approved by the previous administration, the Department of Defense quietly changed its just-released procurement budget for 2025 from armoured Teslas to armoured electric vehicles after public outcry. Welcome to the kakistocracy, folks. As we've been noting, the stuff going on in the US for the last 3 weeks, wow, it has only been 3 weeks, has an impact on the wider world. This week, Ford CEO Jim Farley reiterated that fact very succinctly. Speaking at an investment conference this week, he pulled no punches differentiating the promises made during the election and what's actually been happening on the ground, calling what's been happening a, quote, lot of cost and a lot of chaos. Warning that trade wars and import tariffs will not only make it more costly for consumers, but also impact the industry's ability to react to threats from China, Farley clearly sounded the warning bell over what lay ahead. And of course, given that most automakers in the US are global brands, the effects will be felt globally. Based on what we're hearing, Ford's not going to be the last automaker to take a stand. Time for some good news now, namely that Volvo has unveiled a new variant of its EX30 EV, the EX30 Cross Country. Following in a long line of cross-country variants, the EX30 Cross Country is built to offer a little more rugged capabilities compared to its regular sibling, and includes a suspension raise and optional, larger 18-inch all-terrain tyres. There's the now ubiquitous contrast two-tone trim around the wheel arches, bumper and lower portions of the door, plus an underbody skid plate to offer extra motor and battery pack protection. Volvo says there's also going to be an optional package with roof carriers, mud flaps and roof baskets available when the car goes on sale, but I should note the EX30 Cross Country gets some interesting interior tweaks too, including modified door pockets to help carry more stuff. Pricing to follow. As we feared last week, Nissan's merger with Honda is now officially off, with the two firms confirming this week that they have ended all further talks on the matter. However, like all amicable splits, it looks like the two companies are willing to continue with strategic partnerships in key areas, primarily focusing on software-defined electric vehicle platforms. With the merger no longer happening, however, there's a new suitor in town interested in Nissan, Taiwanese tech manufacturing company Foxconn. This week, it confirmed it's interested in buying out Renault's stake in the Renault-Nissan alliance, freeing Renault from its ties with Nissan and giving Nissan a little more space to pursue its own goals. Obviously, Foxconn doesn't have a great reputation when it comes to expressing an interest in a company, only then to backtrack at the absolute worst time, so it's not clear if Nissan's board will ultimately accept Foxconn's overtures. Watch this space. Audi has officially revealed a new entry-level variant of its Q4 e-tron, the Audi Q4 40 e-tron. While we're not fans of Audi's complicated naming convention, the new entry-level model features a 63 kilowatt-hour battery pack paired with a 150 kilowatt electric motor, the capability to DC fast charge at speeds of up to 165 kilowatts, and importantly, the ability to manually precondition the battery pack prior to fast charging to ensure an efficient experience. Currently planned as a European-only model with a starting price of just over €46,000, this new model gives Audi fans a new, more affordable way into its EVs, not to mention giving prospective Volkswagen ID4 customers an alternative to the ID4's less traditional cabin design. We have long complained about the fact that most automakers seem super determined to only make electric vehicles with obscenely large battery packs, noting that most people just don't need massive daily ranges. To date, only Ford has hinted that we're right, commenting that the future of EVs depends on us making smaller, more efficient vehicles trendy again. Now BMW's development boss has hinted he agrees, telling Automotive News that EVs don't make sense if you just keep making battery packs larger and larger. While BMW already produces two models with massive battery packs, the iX and i7, his comments seem to suggest that BMW is potentially rethinking its future and looking to double down on energy efficiency rather than battery pack size, which, given how it abandoned one of the most efficient EVs of its generation, the BMW i3, is kind of sad and ironic. We have made a point of not covering Tesla since the US presidential inauguration, but this particular story is one we feel is important to cover because of its potential to wreak havoc in both the EV and wider automotive press. As reported this week by the Associated Press, Tesla is now openly suing owners in China who had sudden malfunctions with their vehicles or complained about quality control issues. It has also, according to the Associated Press, suddenly sued at least 6 content creators and 2 media outlets within China who criticised its vehicles and leadership. Further still, the AP alleges that news outlets in the area are being warned not to be negative about Tesla for fear of reprisal from the local government, officials from which have heavily invested in the company's success there. Given where things are going globally, we can expect those heavy-handed tactics to spread to other regions as well. While Porsche's first few years of producing the Taycan EV were great for the company, resulting in increased sales and consumer interest, the pendulum seems to be swinging the other way. The automaker confirmed this week that it's cutting 1,900 jobs at 2 of its factories in Europe, caused primarily by a precipitous drop in overall brand sales last year, combined with tough competition from Chinese brands in Asia. The job cuts haven't been confirmed to be impacting Porsche's Stuttgart Taycan production facility, but tied in with the news is reporting that Porsche is now looking to extend its internal combustion engine portfolio, investing in more combustion and plug-in hybrid models to, quote, strengthen the company's profitability in the short and medium term, end quote. Sadly, it's not the only company backtracking. Rivian, like many automakers, is already starting to feel the pinch of proposed tariffs in the US's burgeoning trade war against any country that isn't the US, and that will undoubtedly lead to increased prices for everyone. This week, Rivian announced that it would be putting up prices for Canadian customers for reasons other than trade wars, the changing exchange rate between the US and Canada. According to an email sent out this week, the R1S and R1T will both get a $10,000 Canadian price hike in just over a week's time, and customers who want to keep the current pricing will have until then to lock in a lower price. While Rivian is blaming the US-Canadian exchange rate, it's honestly being caused by the thinly veiled threats that President Trump is sending Canada's way, complete with heavy tariffs and threats of illegal invasion. This timeline is the worst. It really is. But to finish the segment, some much-needed good news, namely the teasing of new electric vehicles from Kia as it prepares for its now annual EV Day. Kia has been on metaphorical fire in the last few years, throwing out more and more EV choices into the global marketplace. And while not every market is getting every model it makes, I would love the EV3 to come to the US. Its next eGMP-based EVs are ready to break cover on February the 27th. At its second annual EV Day, Kia says it will reveal its EV2 concept car for the first time, along with the EV4. For now, we've just been given this teaser video, but Kia says it will also lay out its updated electrification strategy, which will rely not only on its passenger cars, but its recently revealed PV5 electric van. I cannot wait. Our short shorts are coming in a second, but first a short message from one of today's video sponsors, Energy Sage. Energy Sage helps homeowners connect with local verified solar installers across the US, and now heat pump specialists in select markets who really know their stuff and can help you navigate the process of installing solar panels, help you join a community solar program, or get a heat pump installed. We used Energy Sage when we were looking for installers willing to help us put solar panels on the roof of our home, and our Energy Sage verified installers are professional, knowledgeable, and even put us in touch with an amazing credit union that allowed us to finance our solar panels for as low a monthly payment as possible. Follow the links below to sign up for either of Energy Sage's free, no-obligation services and get that ball rolling today. If you choose to use an Energy Sage installer for your project, we will also get a small referral fee, so you'll be helping us too. Help the grid get greener, save money, and support this channel? It's a win-win-win. And now it's time for our news shorts. Mercedes-Benz has recalled its MQB electric car for what it says is a fault in the main traction battery pack that it quotes as insufficiently robust at high states of charge. Although, interestingly, one of its recall notices just says sufficiently. Whoops. Also in recall town is the Porsche Macan EV, which Porsche is recalling due to overly bright headlights. According to the recall notice, just under 3,000 vehicles are affected, and Porsche will fix the issue with dealer-installed software upgrades. Serbia has confirmed this week that it will continue to offer its EV purchase subsidy program through until the end of this year. 170 million dinars, about 1.5 million euros, have been set aside for the program. Rimac's robotaxi firm, Verne, has confirmed the start of construction of its first factory. Located near Zagreb in Croatia, the company will produce autonomous electric robotaxis for its planned robotaxi service that Rimac unveiled last year. Official sales data from the Netherlands for January shows that Kia's brand new compact crossover, the EV3, was the nation's most popular new car, eclipsing all rival models regardless of fuel type. 1 in 3 new cars last month there was electric. It's not just automakers deciding to give alternative fuels a backseat in the current political climate. This week, Airbus announced it was pausing development of both its battery electric air taxi as well as its hydrogen fuel cell plane projects. Investment Management Corporation of Ontario, a sizable investor in NorthVolt North America, has written down its $400 million investment in the firm as a loss. It's yet another piece of bad news for the battery company as it struggles to survive. Chinese battery giant CATL has officially filed for its initial public offering on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. In doing so, it hopes to execute a $5 billion capital raise, which would make it the largest listing in Hong Kong since 2021. A new battery manufacturing process that directly coats electrodes in an industrial battery cell production facility has officially launched in research project form by EAS Batteries and research partners in Germany. It aims to reduce the overall cost of making LFP battery cells. While some parts of the US are coming to terms with reduced financial assistance from the federal government for EV programs, Illinois' largest utility company, ComEd, has announced a new $100 million allocation for both EV and charging station rebates for its customers throughout this year. Stellantis-owned Jeep has unveiled a new entry-level variant of its Jeep Wagoner S. Called the Jeep Wagoner S Limited, it will start from just under $67,000 and aims to bring the cost of entry down for new EV drivers. The Catalan government has announced it will be setting aside more than €1.4 billion in combined public and private funds to help triple the number of EVs on its roads and double the number of charging stations by 2030. Like most automakers, BYD has its own names for its own in-car tech, And this week it confirmed that its God's Eye, which is its driver assistance system, which underpins its semi-autonomous driver assistance features, will now be installed in its small cars as well as its more pricier models. Sticking with BYD, it appears that Stellantis' European brands are looking to diversify their battery supply. According to reporting from France, BYD is in talks to become a preferred supplier, but the details of this potential deal are sparse. Rivian has officially started sales of its Rivian commercial van to customers in the US. Previously known as the Amazon delivery vehicle and initially designed for the retailer, you can now buy your own for just under $80,000. Republican lawmakers on Capitol Hill have officially introduced new legislation aimed at removing all tax incentives for EV purchasers, instead replacing them with a $1,000 US point of purchase tax, because screw air quality. Following in the tyre tracks of Porsche, it now looks as if Volkswagen, Audi and others are looking to extend their internal combustion engine vehicle plans. Previously, both brands had planned to be electric only in Europe from 2033. And that's apparently catching on because Acura now appears to be eyeing more internal combustion and hybrid models for its future, complaining it's not selling enough of its ZDX electric cars to keep its balance sheets healthy. Also, blaming lower sales than hoped, Hyundai appears to be preparing a week-long pause of its production for both its Kona Electric and Ioniq 5 in South Korea. The firm has recently been offering heavy discounts to its Korean customers. Indian automaker Maruti Suzuki says it does not expect its EVs to produce margins like its internal combustion engine models do for the foreseeable future. The company's CIRO made the comments during the firm's latest annual earnings call. The federal government may have decided to halt all EV infrastructure funding, but this week Revell was celebrating the fact that it had closed a $60 million loan from NY Green Bank to install 267 new fast chargers in New York City. Toyota Chemical Engineering has announced a new recycling technology for EV and hybrid battery packs that it says will allow more raw materials to be recycled while overall reducing CO2 emissions. The process will first be used at one of its factories in Europe. Also in Europe, a brand new battery research project has received funding from the German government. The project, which involves 21 research partner firms throughout the region, will focus on building new sodium-ion batteries for EVs. While Lilium Jet had found itself a buyer at the 12th hour to save it from bankruptcy earlier this year, a change of names at its buyer has resulted in a nightmare of paperwork that has seen the ailing firm locked out of its bank account, resulting in no employees getting paid. Indian electric mobility provider Ola Electric has launched 4 brand new electric scooters, all built around its third-gen technology platform. These vehicles promise ranges of up to 320 kilometres, but that is on the Indian motorcycle test cycle. At its annual meeting this week, Volvo received approval from its shareholders to both sell a 30% stake in Lynk Co to Zeekr, while also officially becoming a distribution partner for Lynk Co in Europe. I should note all 3 brands share the same parent company. Hyundai has confirmed that it will be revealing its brand new pilot production line for its new solid-state batteries it's calling its Dream Batteries, very soon. It's part of a push to establish the company as a leader in solid-state EV battery tech. The latest victim of the recent changes on Capitol Hill has been confirmed. This week, Freya Battery, which had been planning a $2.6 billion battery energy storage system factory in Georgia, will be selling its land off instead, blaming falling battery prices, interest rates, and the recent change in US leadership. Chevrolet is sending its Blazer EV SS out as a pace car for the 67th Daytona 500 this coming weekend. The quickest SS model Chevy has made, it has a sprint time of 3.4 seconds and will likely get EVs in front of an audience who traditionally have not shown a lot of interest in them. Volkswagen has presented the first sketches of the ID.1, its promised €20,000 electric car. Effectively a modern replacement for the same segment occupied by its E-Up, it's hotly anticipated in markets that know small cars are cool. It's starting to look more and more likely that Damon Motorcycles, an electric motorcycle startup that was promising a 200 horsepower, 200-mile electric motorcycle, is nearing its end. It's just lost its CTO, the second executive to leave the firm in short order. Peter Rawlinson, CEO of Lucid, gave an interview to Inside EVs recently in which he laid out his goals for Lucid long term. Admitting he saw the brand as a 20% car and 80% licensing firm, it's clear he sees the firm as a modern-day equivalent of Lotus of the 1990s, but for EVs. The Nature Conservancy and Cumberland Forest Limited partnerships have handed over 17 former coal mine sites in the Appalachians to be used for new solar farms and renewable energy battery storage systems. This is great news for the region. In less awesome news, though, a new analysis from Wood Mackenzie suggests that the ongoing US tariff war between the US and other countries could, if allowed to continue, raise the total cost of onshore wind farm projects in the country by up to 7%, which is bad news for everyone. In the light of US tariffs and a near total ban on imports of automotive components from China, Volvo is on the lookout for a new US battery supplier for its EX90 SUV. Without finding a US partner, its MSRP could soar. XPeng has continued its rollout of vehicles into European markets, and this week that included the launch of the XPeng G6 in the UK. With a starting price of just under £40,000 sterling on the road, deliveries will begin in March. Archer Aviation has announced it secured an additional $300 million in the US as it looks to accelerate its hybrid aircraft platform deployment for use in the military. While this model is not fully electric, it could help Archer with its eVTOL goals. And finally, for the news shorts, Cummins has acquired First Mode, a Seattle-based conversion firm that focused on battery and hydrogen hybrid mining trucks. The company had previously entered into bankruptcy protection at the end of last year. And those are your news shorts. There will be more next week. Our final two stories are next, but first a quick word from friend of the channel, Atmos Financial. Imagine a bank where your savings not only grow, but also go towards growing a greener world. That's exactly what Atmos Financial does for you. With Atmos, every dollar in your checking and savings account is funding projects that light up lives with solar energy rather than fossil fuels. It's banking that builds a better tomorrow with every swipe of your card today, because it's committed to investing 100% into clean, equitable and sustainable progress. With a competitive savings rate and a mobile app, your finances and the climate can go hand in hand. It charges no monthly fees, there are no minimums keeping you awake at night, and it offers accessible solar loans for those who want to give the fossil fuel industry the ultimate middle finger. By joining Atmos using the link below, you're not only choosing a smarter way to bank, you're planting seeds for a healthier earth. And since every sign-up supports this channel, it means we can keep bringing you the content you enjoy. I'm personally a customer, and I love knowing that I'm helping save money while also making sure that money doesn't end up funding the fossil fuel industry. As always, thanks to Atmos for sponsoring the show. And now it's time for those last two stories, and two stories that I really hope will make you happy. We're off to New York for the first, where the city government is helping bicycle couriers with e-bikes stay safe. Highly publicised over the last few years, cycle couriers and gig workers with e-bikes in the city haven't always been buying the highest quality units, leading to battery fires and all kinds of horrid stuff. But after passing new legislation designed to outlaw overpowered e-bikes and non-UL certified e-bikes, the New York City Department of Transportation is now offering an e-bike trade-in program. It allows low-paid courier and gig workers the chance to swap out bikes that aren't legal or safe for new ones that are. In addition to a new certified e-bike, participants will get a spare battery and a charger, allowing them to stay safe and on the road. I know some political groups would call this waste, but I call it looking out for each other. And finally, we love ourselves some retro cars on this channel, from retro mods through to DIY conversions, and luckily in the EV world, there's plenty of that to go around. But this week, a new type of retro-themed EV caught our eye. Courtesy of Italian coach-building firm Castellani, it's taken the Citroën Ami quadricycle, which, let's face it, is already a fun, funky design in its own right, and added a retro body kit that turns it into something that's reminiscent of the iconic Citroën HY vans of days gone by. Complete with corrugated body panels to mimic the original pressed metal of the original HY van, it's the fourth retro-themed vehicle to be designed by the firm, and frankly, I think it's the best looking of all of them. What say you? Let me know in the down below. And on that note, we are done for today. As always, a massive thank you to the Electric Vehicle Association for sponsoring today's show. They've been advocating for EVs since 1967 and firmly believe our future depends on us making the switch to clean, green electric cars today. The EVA can help you find someone near to you who can help you make that switch to electric. It can help you become an EV educator, and it can point you in the direction of monthly meetups for like-minded EV fans. And if you become a member, you'll gain access to a clean energy and EV loan program set up between the EVA and the Colorado Clean Energy Credit Union. Find out more by heading to myeva.org. And thanks to Energy Sage, follow the link below to find out how easy it can be to get verified, trustworthy solar experts helping you make that step towards energy self-sufficiency, using solar on the roof of your home, by joining a community solar project, or by getting a heat pump installed. And thanks to Atmos Financial, bank better by following the link below. And if you are someone who made your own transportation or energy greener this week, despite what else is happening, good job. Well done. If you'd like to support this channel directly, please consider supporting us from $1.50 US a month on Patreon or just under $13 US a year. We are viewer supported because we believe the information we produce should be free to everyone. So if you do support us, thank you. Don't forget too that we have swag you can buy over on our swag store, and one-off donations are possible using Ko-fi, Bitcoin, or even old-fashioned checks. We also have an Amazon affiliate program code that you can use if you decide to support Mr. Bezos. We don't like Amazon, but since Amazon allocates a set percentage of its funds either to affiliates or to its own bank account, we would much rather, if you do shop there, that you help us out rather than make Jeff a little more wealthy. So links down below if and when you need it. You can find other content from us on our main channel and on Transport Evolve Take 2. We publish on a Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday here on the main channel, plus over on a Sunday, you'll find us on Take 2. To finish, remember that you are valid, you are loved, and you have a place in this world, even if you are among the thousands of people being targeted by a government for simply existing or having the wrong type of job or coming from the wrong place. Know that it is okay to not be okay. And it's okay to be angry, scared, and just want to curl up. But also know that existence is resistance. And that makes it harder for hate to exist. So be inspirational, be yourself, be bold, and do good. Don't let hatred win. And for goodness sake, make up some safety phrases and escape plans you can use with your family and friends if you are in a group that needs them. Speak up, be bold. Oh, and tell people about Tarjeta Roja, red cards. I probably said that really wrong. Make sure you attend your local community town halls as well and become an active voice. That is, if you want things to change from the way things are going. And no, we're also not going anywhere, however many threats are coming our way. And there are more than I would care to admit. So until next time, stay safe regardless of your identity or who you love. Be an amazing ally, be kind, be that positive change you want to see in the world. And please, for the sake of everyone's future, don't let hate or ignorance win. Keep evolving.